Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's up and welcome back to Lightweights. Today we have MTVJESSE, Jesse Sebastiani.
All right, buddy.
How are you?
Oh, good. Feeling great.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, of course, man.
Jesse is founder of the brand Sunday, formerly of the NELK Boys, and a possible recognized figure from the MTV show Careless Teens.
Yep, that's me.
You had your own MTV show?
Yeah. When I was still in high school, we were just shooting like a low budget Jackass kind of show, and ended up selling it to MTV, and just for like a season. But yeah, it was like my first little thing for entertainment.
And did you just have it on a VHS? Did you kind of do a Jackass style?
Yeah, it was. I mean, at the time, it was like mini DVs. I don't know if you remember like the old Sony Handycams.
Yes,
we were shooting on those, and it was even before like GoPro and shit like that. So when we were doing like stunts and shit like that, and we used to have to like tape a handy cam to like a 4-wheeler or a dirt bike or something. So like you didn't have like a GoPro would have made that show so much easier to produce. But
Totally.
yeah, I remember at the time it was kind of hell.
What was the most dangerous stunt that stands out in your mind?
Most dangerous? Let me think. I mean, there was a lot, and they weren't always like. I was kind of the chubby funny guy that was producing it.
Oh,
and
so
then
you didn't have to do that.
I was doing some of them, but like that's like it was like a trio, me and my friends, and I was like I would just come up with some ideas and shit, then make them do it. But
Right.
yeah, like one of them that pops in my head is we went to a frozen pond wearing hockey equipment on skates and pulled my buddy on a 4-wheeler while lit on fire across a lake. And then where there was a hole where it was all broken and just like freezing cold water, and he was supposed to like skip across on fire and then get put out by falling into the pond. But like we also didn't realize that like, hey, can this guy swim out of the frozen lake when he's wearing skates and like hockey equipment and on fire? And like it ended up like we all lived, we're all good, but like that one was definitely, now that I'm older, I'm like, Jesus, no wonder our parents were like, what the heck are you doing? You know what I mean? So
Did MTV approve your creative ideas, or did you just film it and then hand it to them?
exactly. That was the only way that show could have happened, is that we went and produced it all and then showed them the footage, almost like how CKY made Jackass. You know what I mean? Like they were just shooting random stuff, and we went and filmed a bunch of crazy shit that never would have got approved by ourselves, and then we were like, hey, do you guys want to package this and turn it into a show? And then they were down. And then when we went to go do a season 2, they were like, yeah, we can't be a part of like funding this or filming this. But there was like a little blind eye to like, go shoot more stuff. Like we'll get this put together if you just go shoot it, like kind of thing. But
That's sick.
yeah.
Was there, being in Canada, was there a lot of people who wanted to do what you wanted to do, or was it a little hard to find people to film with?
Yeah, that was the main issue. No one was really into that stuff. I mean, anything. I've always been into like, you know, product development and clothing design and streetwear and filming. And I kind of got into filming through skateboarding. That was probably the only taste I got in Canada, was other people skating and trying to get sponsored and film like sponsor videos and shit. But no, there was none of that. And that's why when I came to LA, it all clicked. It was like the first week. It was like, oh, I could be at a coffee shop and meet someone that's also filming a Vine video, or you know what I mean? Like just like-minded people that could talk about this stuff with, which was what drew me here for sure.
I have that connection with so many people because like you, that was me in New Jersey. And I know other people who are in Northern California, they were the one friend who had to try and like rally people together to film stuff.
Yeah.
And then once you move here, it's just like endless people who want to film with you.
Oh yeah.
And then you have your pick.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Oh yeah, it's very motivating, and then but then it also becomes a 24-hour thing. Like that's almost what I've been kind of learning lately is that's why it's nice to like get out of LA for a bit and shut that part of your brain off, or else it just like keeps rolling. You know what I mean? Because like everyone here, all your friends here, it's like, I mean, I feel like all my friends here are basically either employees or like partners in the business or something. You know what I mean? Like I don't really just have a friend that's a roofer and
Right.
does, you know what I mean, does that. So yeah.
Where do you like to unwind?
I mean, like we were just chatting about, definitely running has been a big one lately. I made a thing, like I think I'm like 150 days in, but I wanted to run a mile every single day, like at least a mile. It always ends up being a little bit more because it's like with that thing, when you just start it, then it's kind of like open-ended. So I'm at like almost 150 days straight of running a mile every day. And that's been great to just like get away. I want to get back. I've always been a skateboarder. I want to get back into that a little bit. I got a half pipe at the warehouse, and that's always nice. But my big thing is I'm just like a movie head. So after like a long day of work, I just like go home and put on like a classic movie and dive into it and kind of like zone out into that. But
I had that same type of obsession with hiking where I hiked every single day, and I would miss trips because I didn't want to break my streak, but I got up to like 250.
Wow.
For 250 days in a row of doing Fryman. And by the end
it was
of it, I'm
always Fryman?
always Fryman.
Wow.
And
I was going to say to keep it fresh, because I was telling you I got to go run in Silver Lake or something.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm surprised to keep me hiking every day for 250 days, I'd have to do like 200 different hikes or something. You're just hitting the same one.
That's I think like 200 days, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, why?
Yeah.
There was just no point to it, and there was no end goal. But I just wanted to see how high I can get, and now I can talk about it on a podcast.
Yeah. Also, sorry if my I feel like there's another podcast I went on, and I can like hear it right now. I have this like raspiness to my my throat. It's like really weird. It's like a vocal fry. And sometimes it can be annoying to hear. So any listeners that are probably hearing that, I apologize.
Oh no, you sound chill.
I know it's probably annoying.
So you have a new brand now called Sunday.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for how long? About a couple years?
Sunday? No, it's brand new. It's like probably public for about 7 months.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. And ever since I exited Full Send and left that company, kind of just been, I've been kind of like building it in the background. It like leaving my last company was obviously a big deal. So it took about a year to actually exit and make the deal happen. But so I was kind of building Sunday in the background and like developing everything, and then public about 7 months ago.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Sunday is a content production, merch brand, venture studio, product development firm where you kind of want to help companies develop an online presence.
Yeah. The best way to describe it is basically I'm going to build a team, which we have, to build, a few in-house streetwear brands or just like any kind of product development. And then I'm also going to choose the right projects or the right people to use the same team and help them bring their product to life, which would make it, the agency model. But it's not built around just like being a service for everyone, if that makes sense. And then on the other side is the media, where we're building a network and piloting shows. And then we're also doing that for other companies. So if like we have we're talking to UFC, and UFC's like, hey, we want a new YouTube series, kind of like Hot Ones. We'll go write and like pitch a pilot for that for them, if that kind of makes sense.
Do you still have love for being in front of the camera? Would you ever make a show with you in front of it again? Or do you want to kind of be directing behind the scenes?
I think a bit of both. I think just for the business model of what I'm doing, I might as well use the leverage of me. It's going to help. So I think at the start, a lot of these shows I'm piloting, I'm kind of making myself a host or a joint host. And then maybe in the future, if people fall in love with that co-host, I can kind of like go like leave that and let them run that thing and give it to them. I think that's probably the way. But I'm also just like trying to find really good talent. I had this thought about just sorry to jump into content in general, but like building shows, especially like on YouTube. I think I'm starting to realize that it comes down to talent. Like that's everything. Doesn't matter how good of a show, how good of a thumbnail title, or like how much money you put into it, what cameras you're getting, what kind of production level. It's like it can be the shittiest show ever quality wise, but like the talent is amazing and people fall in love with that talent, and then that makes it a good show, if that kind of makes sense. And like I'm just like kind of realizing that lately, and thinking I should invest a lot more time into just scouting talent,
discovering new people.
Yeah, and then almost ask them like what do you want to do, and then bring that to life. I think that'll be a good way to make like truly good projects going forward.
With that, I remember finding your content, and I was just binging everything, and every time you showed up on camera, I was dying. What made you? How are you just so good on camera with the yes and like keeping things going and just seeing how far you can get things in a situation and not cracking or like wanting to leave?
You mean like running the business and being on camera, kind of, or
I guess, because you have to think about so many different things when you're in front of the camera in the moment and trying to make sure that things are going to make sense in the edit. And like you have so many things to worry about. What made you so talented at seeing it all happen in the moment?
I think it's just like I like to say, like when I did NELK for like 7 years, it's like I never went to college, but that was my 7-year, diploma of college. Like it's just, I feel like just being in the game, being in LA and seeing how this all works, we're just knowledgeable in this space, like I've never produced a movie and worked for like Warner Bros. But like when it comes to the internet shit, like I think like we just kind of understand how it all works. But I think that balance of being on camera while directing, while running a company, while seeing how this is going to unfold and how the audience is going to see is like kind of what all of us are all doing. We don't really realize it. We just call it like we're YouTubers, we're, influencers, but we are constantly doing like, we're wearing 6 hats. We're doing all the roles at once. You know what I mean?
Do you see YouTube as eventually taking over movies and TV and being the main medium for people because it's created by the people?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we're already I'd say we're there for TV. I think it is TV now. And movies, I don't know. I'm worried that movies are just going to completely die. Like, but I don't know. I don't want them to. I love movies, but I mean, looking at the attention spans of, the next generation and the cost of a movie of, $20 to $30 million. And if it doesn't make its money back, it's just going to start not making as much sense, right? Like you go put 30 million into creating the next Hot Ones, you could probably go make 10 of those shows and have 10 chances of that blowing up. And I mean, like the whole business model, like the whole brand behind like First We Feast is like $100 million venture. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's just like, there's so much more things that they could be putting their money into that I think movies and films are eventually just going to like not make sense business wise, which is sad. I mean, maybe it'll just be like dumbed down movies, like, the $5 to $6 million movies will be more of like the future. And then they'll do their classic, it feels like every movie is just like, Fast 27 or like, I don't know, like another, what's it called? Like DC Comics type movie is like the only things that are hitting right now. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
Like you said, I believe that we are there. And obviously kids are the future. And if kids aren't going to the movies and they're not watching TV and they don't have cable, then where are they? They're on their phones. Yeah. So we are there in a sense. And like you said, I do think that movies will eventually slowly fizzle and you'll only see the big, massive budget ones because those are the only ones like we spend 200 million, we make 400 million. Yeah. Those are the only ones that are going to make sense because as of right now, people can't really replicate those.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I think TikTok is, I feel like they'll do something massive to really like change the game and people will have to like step up to try and compete with it.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't even have TikTok.
You don't?
Like, I don't even have it on my phone.
Do you have Facebook, Instagram?
Just Instagram and YouTube. That's probably everything.
What did you consume on YouTube?
What did I consume? A lot of skateboarding. Like Thrasher and stuff like that. I'm trying to think on the daily who I would like. When I first got into YouTube, I loved like Jimmy Tatro. You ever see him? He was great. Weirdly, Epic Mealtime.
Me too.
Really? Yeah. Epic Mealtime was my first example of seeing a show, like how they made a show concept on YouTube, and these guys make money doing it. And I remember being young and it like blew my mind. I was like, oh my God. Like just that feeling of I could do this, or like, whoa, like I could think of an idea and do that. Like, I don't know. I remember Epic Mealtime really blew my mind that way.
Did you almost see a little path for yourself? Like no one else is really doing this. I feel like I can take this over.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did, but I also think it would have helped if I was around people that were also thinking of that, so you didn't constantly feel like you're on the wrong path. Like back home, and like I love my dad and shit, but like he was just looking out for me. But like a lot of people I was around, family or friends, just like didn't understand what I was trying to do when I was back home. And until it was successful, like they started understanding it and like believing in it. But yeah, it's hard when you're kind of feel like, because you're gonna second guess yourself too, you know what I mean? And then unless things actually start working out, you're gonna even second guess it more. And I don't know, nothing's gonna beat being around other people that are failing and winning with you, you know.
The camaraderie, the friendship.
Yeah, I think it's easier now. It doesn't matter where you live. It's not even like, oh, you're a YouTuber or you're an influencer. It's like, oh no, you work in production. Oh no, you're a showrunner. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what running anything on YouTube or social media is nowadays. So
right.
It's probably a little easier to convince your dad or something that like, I'm starting a podcast. It's like, oh, that's great. I heard there's money in that, you know?
Yeah. What really led you to the path of making Sunday? What was the overall vision and why were you so passionate about it?
The vision for Sunday, I really, I've said this before, but like I really took my time to think about what it was, what the idea was, because I wanted it. I wasn't really making an idea or a new project or a company for more financial gain in any way. Like I was kind of felt like I won the video game and I was like, okay, what do I want to do? I can't just like retire. I can't just chill. Like I'm not that guy. I need to like constantly be building something and or to be happy. Like it just makes me happy doing that every day. And with Sunday, I just one thing is throughout the years it was very hard working with companies that would manufacture clothes or building design teams or sourcing teams and all that. And it was the process was never easy being an influencer or being anyone with a following to bring products to life. And I just kind of wanted to create an agency that could give all the tools so that when that person walks in, you can make it easy for them to create, if that makes sense. And that's what kind of created Sunday, which was the Sunday catalog. And we're kind of like an American Apparel type thing, but just a newer look at it and making a new catalog of what's the word? Blanking on it. Like printables. Like, you know, when like you go talk to a merch company and they print on a classic Gillidan shirt or a Hanes shirt or whatever it is. I just wanted to kind of reinvent what printables could be available to certain people that are creating streetwear brands or just merchandising brands and just upping the quality or just upping the amount of possibilities. Like this is one of our samples right now. It's just a twofer, but like you can't really go get a twofer as a printable. You know what I mean? You'd have to go cut and sew that yourself and you know, hit a minimum order on it and wait 3 months and know how to tech pack and do all that bullshit. But like I would love to go to someone that I think has like a dope style and a dope brand idea and like, hey, here's a catalog. It doesn't need to be 1,000 pieces, but like here's 20 that like modernly are like actually dope and are good quality and good price points, and I'll sit on all the heavy lift of sitting on all the blanks, and then you can just use them as you like and then print on them. So like that was kind of the vision of it. But when Sunday started, it was all based on a color. So it was this like kind of green Pantone that we used, and because you can't trademark a day of the week, Sunday.
You tried?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were looking into it all, and it's like pretty much impossible. And that's kind of what also birthed our like first tee that's dropping in July. It just says "fuck a trademark," which is funny because the initials are also fat, and we didn't know that till we printed it. And I was like, oh, it's kind of hilarious. But yeah, it was just the idea of like building a brand just on a color and not just like slapping a name and a logo all over shit and it has to be designed. Like I'm definitely one of those guys that just like to wear a lot of, you know, blank, good quality clothing.
Same.
And yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like that. And I just thought it'd be cool if like you just saw someone wearing this hat, saw someone wearing this shirt, and you were like, oh, I've seen that color. Oh, that's Sunday. So like verbally it's Sunday, but it doesn't have to say Sunday. You know what I mean?
Totally. And
it's kind of like a work around the trademark. And no, that was kind of the vision of what created the idea of that.
When you were doing Full Send, was your duty there more creative in the design of the merch?
Yeah. I was like built out like the sourcing team and you know, working with the design team. That was definitely where my head was at. Like I definitely loved it, especially after just like I stopped drinking. I got sober, and the traveling got to be a lot too. And it was just like, well, this is what I've always loved doing. I took a 2-week kind of break from filming and went and got this Airbnb with the design team, and we just like popped out like 3 collections, and it was like I'm working, and I just like it just hit me that I was like, oh, like this is what I want to do. Like this is the shit that I like, and it doesn't mean I don't like being on camera or doing comedy and all that shit. It's just that my 9 to 5 days a week is I would rather be doing product development, design, manufacturing, and creative. Like that's how I tick for sure.
What led you to the sobriety?
Probably just health is like the first answer. Just wanting to be healthy. I was definitely not healthy, and I also think I was surrounded by a lifestyle where it was very normalized, and I overdid it for sure. I don't think I had like a problem with alcohol or anything. Like I mean, I'm sure everyone says that, so I don't know. But I took a month off, and that was all I was gonna do. And then I just, started feeling so much better, and was like, oh well, let's do this long. All of a sudden a year happened, and then now I'm like 2.5 years in, and I don't know. I have like no thought of drinking again. I'm almost kind of, I get like anxiety to the thought of drinking because I don't know how it's going to make me feel, to be honest. And yeah, I just don't miss it at all. Because I've thought about it too. I was like, oh, am I just going to be the guy that like doesn't drink the rest of his life? Or like, should I just have a beer and like see what it's like? Especially if I don't really think I had an issue with it. But anytime I go to kind of maybe do that, I'm just like, I just like don't want it. Like, especially we were talking about just being healthy, and I'm like, I'm already counting calories and eating whole foods. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm like on this whole thing right now. And
how many calories a day?
I'm doing 1750 a day.
Oh, I'm 1800.
You're 1800? Oh, yeah. It's the same stuff. Nice.
Yeah,
and
I'm starving.
Yeah. And I also don't eat till 2 p.m. and then stop at 8.
When do you lift? Do you lift?
No, I do 100 push-ups a day. That's it.
Uh-huh.
I train MMA about 3 to 4 times a week. So I kind of, I don't know. I've also like just have like a stocky build from my dad. And like I was telling you, I just dropped like 45 pounds.
That's
and
incredible.
I just don't feel skinny still. Like I don't feel like I think maybe if the time comes where I'm like, hey, like I'm looking kind of small, I should like, start adding weights back into my life. But I don't know. I feel like running and getting back into skating and MMA, and I'm like my flexibility, like everything feels good right now. So I don't really want to mess with that at all. Also mixing MMA with weights. I tried doing that the first year I got into it, and it does not mix at all. Cause like your legs are sore from a workout, and then you can't do kicks in MMA, and then MMA, you burn your arms out, and then you can't lift anything when you go to lift. It's like, there's a really weird one with mixing those two sports, I feel like.
I want to do jujitsu, but I don't want to get punched in the head.
Oh, it goes away. That feeling, like, and it becomes like, oh yeah, I want to get punched in the head.
Really?
Dude, yeah, it's so, because then you also get good at it where you're just like, and you're also, as long as you're like sparring with people that are also at your level kind of, it's pretty safe. Mm-hmm. Like if I had to go spar someone that's never been trained, I'd be more worried about that because they're not going to know how to pull their punch, or like, it's you know what I mean? It's you're almost just like, you're just tapping each other. You're like playing this like game of chess when you're like, I mean, I guess that's more boxing, just like striking. But,
I've been doing boxing.
You've been doing boxing?
I like boxing, but I like weightlifting more because I have that goal of just like every week I'm going higher and higher. Yeah. And I just did 100-pound dumbbells on each arm.
Oh, nice.
On bench press. And that was like, I felt like a superhuman after. Yeah. It was the best feeling because that was the highest weight in the gym, and I literally can't go any higher now.
Yeah, I've never done that. I think I've done like 75 or something, but that's pretty good, man.
I can see you getting into really like weightlifting and really focusing on it if you already have the discipline of calories and you're running every day.
Well, I've never done lifting. I've always lifted my whole life. This is the only time I haven't. But I've never done it that way where you, hit a certain amount of reps and then you like up your weight that week and then up your weight that week. Like, like it sounds like that's what you're doing. You're kind of like seeing how much you can upgrade.
Yeah.
I've never done that, but But I'm also kind of worried because, again, I have a stocky body that I would get obsessed about it.
That'd be great.
But then I look like Bradley Martin, and I don't want to.
Jack Jesse.
I love Bradley Martin, but I don't want to look like that. I just I want to look like. I don't know. Not that I want to. What's that?
You want the runner's bod?
Yeah, kind of. And it's not about honestly like physically how I look. It's more like I just know how I feel in this. Like I want to maybe cut even like 10 more pounds and then just like hover around there and then just try to be as much of an athlete as I can, even though I'm built like a garden gnome. But like I'm not meant to run. That's what's like weird. Like I should not be a runner. I should not be an MMA. I should maybe be a wrestler. But maybe lifting. I feel like I might have a body for lifting.
If you ever want to come lift, my friend has a gym. It'd be just us and a trainer. It'd be sick.
I'm down. Yeah. Okay. I'm always down for a session like that.
Have you ever been arrested?
Yeah. I got arrested 2 or 3. No, I think 2. 3. I don't know. Like a couple times, all for pranks.
In America?
Shit. Yeah, once in Canada, and I want to say once in America, but I feel like I've been arrested more than once in America. But it's all like same shit, just like doing a prank. I had one that was pretty scary, pretty bad.
Why? Because I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, it was like we made a whole video on NELK about it, and I like went back to Canada waiting like a trial. It was like a big thing.
Did you go to court?
Yeah, but it was like at that point it wasn't as scary because we literally walk in and got a time served because I had to spend like a day in jail when it happened, and then like a $25 fine. Oh. But I ended up it being pretty cool. But that waiting to go to that like trial, and like they were like, oh, it could be 6 months and like all this, and like, dude, I'm not about that life, and I'm like, fuck, like, and it was scary the night I went in there. Like, I don't know, just like you ever just like, I was just like around a bunch of people that I was like, I shouldn't be here. Like it was just like face tats and people like the one dude I'll never forget. He's like, dude, I just got out after 2 years yesterday. And he's like, and then they get me for stealing from Target. And he's got like 9 face tats. And I'm like, dude, you just got out and you robbed a Target? Like, and you're mad about it? It's like, I hope he's not listening to this. Fuck, he'd probably be pissed. But I remember, yeah, like it was just sketchy.
Trevor, he's a huge lightweights fan.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know. It was a mess.
What was the prank for that one?
That one was, and now that I'm saying it sounds stupid, but at the time it sounded funny. I had like a painter's suit covered in fake blood. And I was in a Barnes and Noble asking for the section for how to clean up a dead body. Kind of like, like, and like, it was funny because everyone there was like laughing and being like, it was just so dumb. It was like, oh, ha ha ha, like, yeah, the section over there, like, you got a body you got to clean up.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what actually happened, but it must have been just someone that like saw me or something, called the cops, and then it turned into this whole thing, like helicopter and
the wrong cop came.
Yeah, like, and then got arrested, and
helicopter came.
Dude, it was crazy. Yeah, like, and I'm like still wearing this suit. I'm like trying to get the zipper off. I'm like, oh no. And there was like fans there at the time, and they're all like taking photos and stuff. And I remember like, there's a thing, like if you know you're shooting a prank that's kind of heavy, you're like, you shoot it, you get the clip, and you get out. Yeah, get out of there. And I remember like the guys I was with were all like taking photos with the fans and like hanging out, and I was like, yo, I'm still in a bloody suit. Like, can we get the fuck out of here? And like, and then all of a sudden I hear like, I'm like, oh, yo, this is not good. And then yeah, but I think we ended up printing my mugshot on a t-shirt and made like $100,000 the next day, so which helped with the court bill or the lawyer expenses and stuff. So
what was the biggest bank deposit you ever saw?
Biggest bank, probably like, I think I can say this. Yeah,
you can cut it out if you can.
Yeah, I mean it should be fine, but probably like 15 million.
Whoa,
it's pretty crazy. Yeah, in a day. Like, yeah, it was like, I mean, I was probably pretty numb to it at that point. But I remember the first one that blew me away was $700,000 because like I had no money to my name, and it was like one of the first merch drops we did. We did these like varsity, just like NELK boys crew necks, and I was like staying in really small Airbnb, like a 700 square foot Airbnb in Miami with like 4 people. And then we like did this drop, and I saw like 700 grand went in that day. And it was like, what the, like, I remember calling my mom being like, bro, this is, we're on to something. Like, this is going to work. So
what were you expecting?
It's funny. I've like tried to think about it, and I can't really like put my head before that now. Like, what, or like in that day before that day, like, hey, like, were we trying to make like 50 grand? Were we trying to make like 5 grand? Like, I can't really remember. Or if we like, but I remember being like jaw dropping, like, it's like that's a stupid amount of money. It was just like, yeah. And then we just invested it all back in and kept kind of building the company. But yeah, it was crazy.
Did you celebrate in any kind of way?
That first one?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I'm sure we went and got a couple Bud Lights or something. We must have shotgunned a beer or something, but I can't really remember too much. No, nothing jumps in my head. We've definitely celebrated from big drops, that's for sure. We've been in Vegas for them. We've been on private jets for some. It's like, yeah, we've had some celebrations. We've been like in Europe when we did a big drop and saw, like, I remember that was a big one too. I was like in Europe in a hotel room with like the whole team, and we were watching the Shopify, and we saw, like, I mean, and this is public, like if you were like, we posted this on our story at the time, but it was like 350 or 400,000 people were live on our site at once, which is crazy. Cause like, if you think about like a retail store, you to be able to, that's like having 400,000 people with their credit card holding what they want to buy from the store, like ready to check out, and you'd have 400,000 registers. Like, it's insane to think, like, that's what's crazy about like retail to online and direct to consumer. It's just like there's 400,000 people, like, and we broke Shopify. It was like they were trying to check out, and it was like they were in line, and then like by the time their spot in line got opened up, what they tried to buy was like sold out now, and they had to go back and try to get some, but now that's sold out, and like it was nuts. It was like as close as we've ever seen to like some like Supreme style, like what they probably, I mean, they're probably like 5 to 10 fold, but I bet you we got like pretty I mean, 400,000 people on your site trying to buy something at once is a lot. It's pretty heavy.
That sounds like a moment. What's another moment that sticks out from you just doing the online video creation, whether it was you meeting someone, being in the right place at the right time, something that you never thought you would have been able to do?
Definitely been a lot of those. Let me think of a cool one.
Even rattle off a couple.
Yeah. Hugging P Diddy. That was pretty crazy.
Where was that?
It was at P Diddy's house.
You went to his house?
Yeah, it was like his son's birthday, and this was like our first year in LA, and we like went to this. So it was like, I remember back in the day, it was just like you would just get word from these like LA kids that like, yo, there's this party, and then there's this party, and you'd bounce around the hills. And this guy took us to this party before like it even started. We showed up. We just said, I can't even remember P Diddy's son's name. I don't even know, but he's just like, yeah, we're here for his birthday. And they're like, all right. And then they just let us in, and then we went and partied. And it was right like after we did the Coke prank on cops, I remember, which was like our biggest video. And then we were like walking out of the party at night, and then P Diddy was just like leaning against his like really expensive car, and they were filming him for something, like interviewing him or something. And then I think Kyle went up and said what up and like dabbed him up. And then I went up to go like, yo, what's up? I'm kind of drunk. And a bodyguard just like karate chops me in the neck. I'm like, oh, okay. And I guess he saw that and was like, hey. And then he like points at me, and I'm like, what up? And he's like, come give Diddy some love. Yeah, he literally said that. And I was like, okay. And I just like hug him. And then we just like started chatting, and I don't know. And then we left. But it was like a pretty wild, I was just like, what just happened? Like, it was like very strange, but yeah, there's been a lot of those.
When you posted the Coke prank on cops,
yeah,
what changed directly from that? Like, did the algorithm start blowing up all your videos? Did anyone reach out and they're like, hey, we want to sponsor something on your page? Was there anything that really took a turn for you that like stepped you in the right direction? That moved the needle.
I think it was probably just the biggest thing, because it's like we never really did brand deals or anything like that, but it put us on the map. But sorry, going back, the first thing, the thing that was the most important is that it like proved to us like, hey, we can do this again. You know what I mean? It's like because we were like 3 weeks into LA, like from Canada, like 3 weeks in, and like
I remember when you guys came.
Yeah, and we were small. We were like under 100,000 subs, so like. At the time, you can't just go collaborate with anyone and all that. But like once we did that, it kind of put us on the map, and it made everything else easier. But it really was just like, it was reassuring, like, hey, we're here for the right reason. We're gonna do this. So
You're on the right path.
yeah, exactly.
What was the biggest challenge with you breaking ground with Sunday?
Still going through them. I mean, it's so fresh that it's like it's figuring out what the company is and what we really want to put our time and money into has been the exercise, like this first 6 months. And it's just a lot of trial and error. We were very leaning onto the agency side a lot, just like straight building relationships with a new client, getting retainers locked in, and then building out their project. That was like the exercise we were doing with like, 3 or 4 clients at the start, and it was taking up a lot of our time. But then we also put a lot of our projects on the back burner of that. And I was seeing how much time it took on myself. And then also a lot of these brands, like, I don't know if they really wanted to like give me the keys to like, and my team the keys to just actually, like, we know what we're doing, like, let us do it. So it was this mixture of us being kind of a service, and then them kind of having last final say on how we should actually do this. And at the end result of that is never good, in my opinion. It's like so I really do think that the pivot that we are making now is investing in. If we believe in ourselves, it's like we're just going to invest into our shows, invest into our products and our brands, and use that to be our like resume to then work with certain brands and certain companies that are willing to give us the keys to like bring a project to life. You know what I mean? And then doing it more by like project based and not like long-term retainer type deals. It's almost like Prime. Like I was talking to Logan there for a sec, and I just pitched him an idea for a commercial. But like that's more and it was kind of funny. He ended up liking the idea, but he literally just shot the exact idea 2 days before, and I was like, that's like crazy. But then I was like, oh, at least we're on the right track, I guess. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like that's more what I see us doing, is just when it comes to like as an agency or a service to anyone else, I think it's just like one-off projects that people trust us with. Like if a company was like, hey, we have a Super Bowl commercial, this is the product, this is what we want to do, this is the budget, and then me and the team can just go work and bring that to life. I think that would be like a cool angle to do. And then just 90% of our time into our own ventures, and kind of changing the business model to being like Sunday is a venture studio and not a service industry agency type signing thing, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what we've been learning. And it's and your question was like, what's been the hardest? I think that's just been a long hard curve of learning that, but that was just something like, even with NELK or any of my past Careless Teens, any of this stuff, I've never owned an agency. You know what I mean? I've never done any of this. This is all fresh, and I'm like lucky enough to be in a position to experiment and try this out and learn that like this is actually the way you should do it, or and pivot at the right time. And no, it's like it's got a lot of heartaches, and we're spending 12 hours a day doing it, but I just know it's all going to make sense in the end, if that kind of makes sense. Like I'm very like, I love it. I love doing it, and I believe in it. But yeah, that was a long answer. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. It's inspiring. Are you making a TV show around Jonah?
Honestly, I was going to pitch him.
Because I saw you hung out with him recently.
Yeah. I have an idea for him.
Uh-huh.
Did you see the thing I just did with my dad?
Which,
it's like the wings one. It's like him trying wings.
You posted it yesterday, right? Or 2 days ago?
It was like 4 days ago or something like that. But it was literally a complete rip of Dave Portnoy's like one bite pizza thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why is no one doing this for wings? My dad and me like love wings, And again, going back to like investing in like good talent, like on camera, like I think without even producing him at all, my dad is like hilarious the way he is. He's very relatable as a dad. And I just like was like no budget at all, shot on an iPhone. I edited it like after work one day for 30 minutes and then just uploaded it. And like people seem to love it. And it's just my dad, you know, testing out wings and reviewing them. And then we're going to start doing that with like celebrity guests and all that. But I wanted to kind of pitch the same thing, but do it at like streetwear stores, boutiques, like places where you can go buy an outfit and then have Jonah go in and just have him walking out with a brand new outfit at the store. And then he just reviews the store and his fit and then ranks it like really quick. But you just like, it's a 2-minute video and you just get to see his new fit and then a rank of this store he's at. And then it'll be kind of funny because like he also could go do stores that like shouldn't be good for outfits, like Walmart or like, I don't know, like random places like Costco, 7-Eleven, like and he has to figure out a whole outfit. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Jonah, if you're watching this, check it out. We'll have a conversation.
What's next for you? Where do you see yourself going from here? Aside from Sunday, like what do you want to do with running, MMA? What's the next big leap for Jesse?
I don't know about big leap. I'm coasting and just working and experimenting with everything right now. I've been doing a lot of auditions. I feel like that's been going really well, and that'll probably be a new thing I haven't tried, but you know, do some acting. Building a network again has been really exciting, and writing shows. We're about to release our brand that we've been making for like a year now, and that's like in I think July, and that's exciting. We're like a whole year deep of collections that it's crazy because you like see these designs and these products for so long because you're like making it for a whole year that you almost like you're forgetting that you haven't shown anyone or tried selling any of this yet. So like that's going to be really fulfilling and exciting to release that and see how people, you know, fuck with it. But I don't know, nothing really new. Probably want to get a fight, not like a YouTuber type fight. Like I'm just going to show up at like a Street Beefs or something. I don't know if you ever seen that, but just like a backyard, and I'm just going to like, you know, pick someone that's my same weight and just like scrap them. I like really want to do that.
You
not like
Kimbo.
A sparring. Yeah, Kimbo would be, if he was still around, I would.
R.I.P.
Yeah. But yeah, just like, I don't know. And also just enjoying life. Maybe get back to traveling. I've been kind of working hard lately and go visit my mom and go visit my dad and shit.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by.
Dude, yeah, thanks for having me.
Guys, go check out Sunday. Where can they go? What's the website?
Sunday, you can just go to bloodysunday.com, and it's pretty much shut down right now, but if you want to be notified for drops, it's just you put email and SMS on there. And we also give away free shit every single month. So
basketballs recently, I really wanted one.
Yeah, I'll bring you one. I got you. We had some left over, but yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Thanks for coming, Jesse.
Yeah.
See you guys. Lightweights out.